Hello and welcome to the Crooked Letter Sports Podcast, the show about Mississippi sports and the folks who play them. I'm Tyler Cleveland. I'm joined as always by my co-host and dad, Rick Cleveland of Mississippi Today. Dad, how was the weekend?
Good weekend. We had the great crowd at the Mississippi Book Festival, which was moved to September to avoid the heat of August.
And now is in the heat of September.
We actually had heat warnings on Saturday.
They're going to have to move the Mississippi Book Festival to Canada if they're going to avoid heat.
I think so.
If you want to make sure you want to avoid the heat, you're just going to have to pick up everything and move it to Ottawa.
But it was great. The book festival went well. We had a great panel on sports books and got to have dinner the night before at the Mayflower with my buddy Wright Thompson.
Yeah, how's Wright?
Wright's doing great. He's now internationally famous, and I guess probably one of the most respected current writers in the world.
Well, that's fantastic. How was the fish is the real question.
Well, you know the answer. They were out of redfish.
Well, I mean, and you wrote that piece on them, was it last week, on the Mayflower? They were named one of the New York Times 50 best restaurants in America, which the two observations I would make would be great, fantastic for the Mayflower, and two, where you been, New York Times? The food's been great for,
forever.
Yeah. Actually,
that was a fun column to write going back through the years and all through the, how important that place has been to not only to Jackson, but to the Cleveland family.
Yeah, I was about to say, to me. Yeah, it's been very important to me. Well, we've got an exciting show today, Dad. We're going to talk a lot of football from this past weekend, and we're going to take a look ahead. I want to start in high school where we had two big upsets and one nearly record-breaking performance.
I want to hear about the two upsets.
Obviously going to get into Ole Miss and Arkansas, the shootout they had in Oxford, and the emergence of one Trinidad Chambliss, who we agree is on the all-name team already. Mississippi State won big. Southern Miss got a huge win over App State. Lots going on elsewhere, and we'll talk about another ill-fated trip to New Orleans for a Saints game for me. But like I said, starting in high schools, just off the top, our top two teams both won again. Tupelo defeated Houston, Tennessee, 45-7. It was a blowout win. Don't know much about Houston, Tennessee, other than they are clearly not as good as Tupelo.
Nobody else is right now.
Not in the state, anyway. Number 2, Brandon got another gutsy win over Clinton. They won 14-9. These are the kind of physical games that Lance Pogue said they were going to have to win, but the whole season's a slog. But I think any road to a championship leads through Tupelo, so Brandon going to have to get a lot more physical by the end of the year as well. All right, here are the upsets just for you, Dad. Brookhaven, the mighty Brookhaven Panthers defeated Madison Central 20-17 in overtime. That's stepping up 2 weight classes for Brookhaven, I believe, to beat Madison Central. Madison Central does not usually lose games to teams that are not in the 7A classification,
wow,
so that's a big deal.
That's a shocker.
It is. And the other one was just an absolute browbeating down in the Pine Belt. The Columbia Lions defeated Petal 32-7. I mean, just pretty much just browbeat them. You don't see that. I mean, that's Columbia is I think they're 4A.
Yeah, I think unless they moved up a division this year, they're 4A.
Yeah. That's a big win for them. I thought that one was shocking just for the the spread on that. You don't usually see a smaller school beat a big school by 25 points. And, Dad, here's the almost nearly record-breaking performance, I should say. Poplarville running back Ty Keys. Stop me if you've heard this name before, because they just keep producing them. Poplarville running back Ty Keys, 18 carries, 506 yards, 8 touchdowns. And believe it or not, that is not a record. It is just short of Kasuth's Jaylee Adams, who rushed for 543 yards. So the record's 543. This kid ended up with 506.
Oh, how many carries?
18. I don't do math, but that is a massive number.
Oh, my goodness. He was averaging like 30 yards a carry.
with 8 touchdowns. 8.
Wow.
I don't know who they played. I assume they won. But that was the night in high school football, and it was, we're kind of settling in now. I think a lot of teams are going to start playing some region games next week, so we've done a lot of feeling out. So I'm excited about it. I think there's going to be some good ones going forward, and we'll have to get out to a stadium sometime soon because I sure do. I enjoy being able to watch multiple games on Friday night online. We got to get out to a game. There's nothing beats being on the sidelines at one of those. Dad, turning to Saturday, the Saturday that was for Mississippi college football. What was your viewing schedule like? I know you like to pull all day duty on Saturday.
Yeah, our games, I didn't watch that much until the night games because all our teams played at night, and I was flipping channels and had a TV, a computer, and a phone going at the same time. I did
at the night, and during the night games, I did get to watch some of the Tennessee-Georgia game.
I did watch,
which was
second half of that.
A good one,
a really good one. Yeah,
they let them off the hook.
Yeah, but
the Vols.
Yeah, Georgia just. I mean, they're still going to be there at the end. They're going to be playing in December.
I agree, but I think they're gettable this year. I don't think it's like it has been where they're just unbeatable.
Yeah.
Also got to see some of LSU in Florida, which was kind of a ugly slugfest where DJ Lagway threw 5 picks to the LSU defense, and LSU only won by 10 points somehow.
Yeah, well, I was watching the Mississippi teams. I didn't see that.
Well, that was my first chance to see. Some of LSU. And looking ahead a little bit, there's going to be a big game in Oxford in 2 weeks, but we'll get to that. Ole Miss and Arkansas, man, you knew this game was going to be crazy because it always is. It seems like nobody pulls out the stops like Ole Miss and Arkansas. The Rebels gave up 526 yards. And Archie was like 9 of 12 on third down conversions, and somehow Ole Miss won. A lot of those due to this Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback, 21 of 29, 353 yards and a touchdown. Also ran for 62 yards, a team high 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'd say that'll do for a starting debut in the football bowl subdivision.
Yeah, he was fantastic. I don't know what else you can say. I mean, he made all the plays. He was, as I wrote a column about him Sunday. He can run it. He can throw it. He has the it factor. He makes everybody around him better. He's and the name.
Yeah, Trinidad.
Trinidad Chambliss sounds like he ought to be the gold medal sprint champion from Jamaica.
Or from Trinidad.
Or for Trinidad. Yeah, but what a fantastic performance. Part of what I wrote Sunday about is about all the players that I think could have made the transition in the past from Division II to big-time college football in Mississippi, and we've had many. As you well know. But Trinidad Chambliss last year was leading Ferris State.
Yeah, and leading them well since he was like a record holder.
Well, he won the Division II Heisman Trophy. They won the national championship, and he ran for 26 touchdowns and threw for 25. I mean, yeah, he's really good. He's 23 years old. He's played a lot of football.
Well, that kind of begs the question, what happens when Austin Simmons comes back from injury? Austin has not played as much football as Chambliss has, but he was the starter before. You hate to lose your starting job to an injury. If I was them, I would probably just play the hot hand. But I know that teams don't like to do that. For whatever reason, but I'm sure that there is something that Simmons. I'm not a quarterback's coach. I'm not inside that program. There's something that Simmons brings to the table that sets him apart from Chambliss.
Well, he's for one thing, he's like 4 or 5 inches taller.
Yeah.
He's got a rocket arm. He can run.
Yeah, but like, can you run like that? I mean, Chambliss was causing all kinds of problems with his mobility.
He was running like an all-SEC tailback.
I mean, he had 60-something yards. He could have had 100 if he had just pulled it down every time he decided to take off. I mean, every time he decided to throw it.
Yeah, I've heard two schools of thought. One, there's a reason Austin Simmons was starting in the first place, that they see him every day in practice, and clearly they thought he gave them the best chance to win. The other school of thought is, well, that's because they hadn't seen Trinidad Chambliss under the lights.
Yeah,
when it matters.
I'm just saying, if the other team has got big and fast defensive linemen, it does help to be able to see over them. But it also helps to be able to get the hell away from him. And his escapability in the pocket really, really, it didn't surprise me. I knew he could move. Well,
as the old saying goes, it's a nice problem to have.
It is a nice problem
having to choose between two really, really good quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, we got good quarterback situation in Mississippi this year. I mean, Ole Miss has got two of them. Mississippi State Chapin looked great on Saturday. Down in Southern Miss, Braylon Braxton has breathed life into that program. I mean, it's even at Jackson State.
We'll talk about that. I do want to talk just a little bit more about the Division II players who have shown, and I mean who. I used several samples. 3 of them were Delta State quarterbacks. Josh Bright, who we watched win the national championship, putting up 63 points in the national championship game.
He had a cup of tea in the NFL at a tight end position, I believe.
Yeah, he did, and so did the next guy I talked about was Scott Eister, who was a 4-time Connerly Trophy finalist, who was a terrific quarterback. He got in 5 NFL camps and was the last cut several times. But he could have played at any of our 3 schools. There's no question about it.
Those guys kind of remind me of Chambliss a little bit because especially Eister, he didn't have.
Well, Patrick Shegog's the one that reminded me of Chambliss. He was about the same size. Another, big time player at Delta State. And what I didn't know when I wrote that column, what I didn't realize is that the guy who recovered the fumble,
the only turnover in that Ole Miss Arkansas
the guy that recovered the fumble that clinched the game was Wydett Williams, who played 2 years at Delta State before transferring to Ole Miss.
Well, there you go.
And the point of my column was that we may see a lot more of this now that
it's possible.
Well, you don't have to sit out a year. You can transfer up. You don't have to sit out a year, and you might make a whole bunch of money.
You could.
I guarantee you Trinidad is. But, in fact, I talked to Scott Eister about it. I called him Sunday morning, and he said that Mississippi State had actually talked to him when he was at Delta State. But he would have had to sit out a year, and there was no NIL money.
Right.
And as he put it, Delta State was really good to me. I love the place.
They couldn't come up with anything under the table? When you're trying to get a guy to sit out a year, you got to come with something a little bit stronger than.
Well, he said the last thing he said to me, Scott said, was, well, in today's atmosphere, the way things are today, I'd have had to listen.
Yeah.
At least listen.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dad, I want to talk a little bit about this game upcoming. Ole Miss I feel like this is I don't know if it's a trap game because Tulane's undefeated, but it feels like.
It's not a trap game.
Well, I mean, Ole Miss is 11.5-point favorite at home against Tulane. Tulane has beaten South Alabama, Northwestern, and Duke. They looked the most convincing against Northwestern and Duke. That South Alabama game was super iffy. But they come in undefeated, and Ole Miss is 11.5-point favorite. You got to avoid looking forward because you win this game, the way it sets up, it very much looks like you're going to have an all top 10 matchup in Oxford and probably College game day and everything against LSU the next week. So What do you think about it? Have you seen any of Tulane this year? And do you think Ole Miss can cover? Will cover, I should say.
Actually, I think that spread is about right. I think that's what if I was going to make it, I would have probably made it 10 to 12 points, It is really a long way from a gimme. I mean, Tulane is they're really good. Hell, they lost their quarterback to Duke. Duke paid their quarterback, Tulane's quarterback last year, $1 million to come be their quarterback, and then they just
did browbeat them.
Beat them bad.
Do you think that Trinidad Chambliss should hold out for more money? You think he should renegotiate before the next game?
Well, of course I don't think that.
I don't know what they paid him to come there, but I think his stock is rising. Looking forward to that.
Speaking of people who held out for more money, and we talked about it months ago, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Amaliva.
Yeah, Amaliva. Nico.
Yeah, Nico. How do you think he feels right now?
I don't know, man. They got beat. So their coach got fired. They fired the coach.
They're 0-3.
He's at UCLA now. For those listeners, not if they're 0-3.
He ended up taking less money to go there. He basically told Tennessee, "You got to pony up, or I'm leaving."
And Tennessee said, "We'll see you.
See ya."
We got this guy Aguilar. We feel pretty good about.
He leaves. He gets about 2/3 of the money he was already making at Tennessee at UCLA.
Yeah, but he's living in L.A. and not Knoxville. There's that.
I don't know. Knoxville's not a bad place to be the quarterback at the University of Tennessee, making $2 million a year.
Well, I would take L.A. at 1.5 just for the record. Dad, moving on.
I wouldn't.
Mississippi State beat Alcorn 63-0. That's not really the news here. They were really dominant on defense again, and they're 3-0 for the first time since 2017. They can get to 4-0 for the first time since 2012. If they can beat, maybe 2013. I think it's 2013. If they can beat Northern Illinois, who they are a 21.5-point favorite against this weekend in Starkville.
Now, this is a trap game for sure. This is a trap game.
They do play the aforementioned Tennessee Volunteers the next week.
Right. And they play them at home. But Mississippi State should not be that far removed from a 2-10 season to believe that they can just walk out there and beat a Northern Illinois team that has won in recent years at Notre Dame.
They won a couple of big games, and they like to run the football. They are a running football program, and I thought State played their best defensive performance of the season Saturday, but it's hard to judge because the gap has widened so much between those two programs that it's just not, it's just hard to judge anything. I'm interested to see. I think they have answered a lot of questions on the offensive side of the football, and I think they're getting better on defense with every game. I think they're going to, I think at some point they're going to face a really, really big test defensively, and if they pass, they're going to be. But this is, they're counting this Northern Illinois game. I was counting this Northern Illinois game in the quest for 6, and so they got to go out and take care of business this weekend. I'm going to expect them to win. I don't know if it's going to be 3 touchdowns.
I expect them to win too, and I don't think it will be 3 touchdowns.
Dad, Southern Miss picked up a huge win on Saturday, maybe their biggest one.
Of course it was. It was a conference game.
I think it's their biggest win for the program since that Tulane game in Will Hall's. Was that the first year? Or second year, Will Hall? There was one down in New Orleans. Anyway, they just, it's the first upset of the Charles Huff era. They were 2.5-point dogs technically. They got outgained, but they picked App State off in the red zone 3 times, including a 99-yard interception return for Isaiah Foster.
3 interceptions by 3 different guys, all of whom played last year at Marshall.
Yeah, they have but still, I mean, even with all that, they really had no business winning the game. They got outgained by like 100 yards. I know. It's just, it was the final score is super deceiving. A 16-point win. I mean, you had a 14-point swing on one play.
Right. You play the game though differently when you get ahead. I mean, I'm not saying, I think they would have had more. Hell, they changed quarterbacks early in the fourth quarter.
They did. They were, and it was, it was good to see that. I mean, it's been a long time since Southern Miss put in a different quarterback in the fourth quarter for that reason.
Yeah, but I mean, here's what I can say about them. They are seem so much more sound as a football team than they have for the last, I guess since Fedora left.
Well, they've now forced as many turnovers. They've got as many interceptions now as they had all last season.
The guy I didn't know about until Saturday night was the edge rusher, Jamon Tapp.
Yeah, 3 sacks for him.
3 sacks, but you look at his background now, he was a 4-star big-time recruit for Texas. I mean, he's the real deal. And, they're just a better football team. They've got a tough test Saturday at Louisiana Tech, who's, I think, undefeated as well.
Nope, they're 2-1. They're coming off a convincing win over New Mexico State, though. They won 49-14 last weekend. Technically, Southern, they're 3.5-point underdogs at Ruston. That sounds about right to me.
Yeah,
but it's the kind of game they need to win if they want to compete for a conference championship.
Well, Louisiana Tech I think they probably would be, if they were in the Sun Belt, would be one of the favorites. Yeah, they're going to have to beat better teams than Louisiana Tech to win the league.
I agree. But I think it's a good test for them. I think it's a great test. I think this is the kind of, this is the kind of game they will have to win that conference. That win over App State is huge because, that's a team that's been extremely competitive in the Sun Belt.
What I wrote about the game and what I believe to be true is that Braylon Braxton gives them a chance against anybody left on their schedule.
Agreed.
He is a
bona fide starter, FBS starter, which is something they have not had.
He's a really good player, and he's a winner.
Agreed. Elsewhere, Dad, Jared Lockhart threw for 257 yards, 1 touchdown, and added 2 more on the ground to carry JSU over Tuskegee 30-0. JSU just continues to play well. Fully expect them to be in the hunt for the SWAC. Valley got dust rolled 56-3 by Southeastern Louisiana on the road. And Delta State dropped its first game of the season 25-21 at North Carolina Pembroke, which is a pretty good team there in Division II. I spent a lot of time in New Orleans on Sunday. Got to see my sister and went to the football game where I got to tell you, on top of the Saints losing to the 49ers 26-21, they also lost the Dome. There was more. I'm sure there were more San Francisco 49ers fans there than Saints fans.
That shocks me.
We walked to the stadium from where we were staying, and when I got outside the Dome, I noticed the sea of red. And when I got inside, it was even more obvious. And it was on like third downs when San Francisco was on defense. They were all chanting, and it was like louder than. They could have put the decibel meter or whatever they put up when the Saints are on defense. They could have put that up, and it would have been higher than whatever. It was kind of disheartening.
Well, I've read a little bit about it. The reason is that ticket brokers have bought season tickets to the Saints game, and they put them on sale at exorbitant prices, and people from visiting teams
people from San Francisco can afford the plane ticket and the game experience more than the people who live 3 blocks from the stadium.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's probably true. Yeah.
Well, I got to do something about that because that was just. It was a little disheartening to get your They're going to get their butt kicked. But, I mean, to lose at home like that and have your stadium taken over by a bunch of people who are covered in tattoos and smell like beard oil and vape juice.
I watched, of course, the entire game, and of course San Francisco's playing without their
starting quarterback and their best offensive weapon outside of Christian McCaffrey, and
they're all league tight end,
yeah,
and a couple defensive players too, right?
Yeah.
So
made Mac Jones look like Tom Brady. That's what happened. On third down, the Saints could not get off the field. They finally did there at the end, but by then it was too late. They had converted 8 of 15 first downs on third down conversions for the 49ers. Demario Davis was all over the place, had like 11 tackles, but, I mean, they couldn't get off the field.
I'm with our buddy Deuce McAllister. The most distressing thing about the Saints' performance was the mistakes, the penalties, just the unforced errors that they made that I was hoping.
Well, somebody needs to buy Alontae Taylor new spikes. This dude falls down every time they throw it at him, and I don't know what that's about.
To me, it's the procedure penalties. Yeah.
Well, you got to admit, you understand, it was very loud in that dome. Procedure penalties are expected.
Well, they got to clean it up. They got to clean up their act.
Especially when San Francisco just absolutely takes over. Very frustrating. I will say that Alvin Kamara had a pretty good game.
Alvin Kamara is still one of the best running backs in the league. And
Spencer Rattler is not the problem. I'll go further.
I told you that last week.
He was 25 of 34 for 207 yards, and of those 9 incompletions, I mean, he was really good targeting almost everybody, but he was 11 of 19 when targeting Olave and Juwan Johnson, who, for whatever reason, Juwan Johnson just had a period in the first quarter where he couldn't catch the football. And then Olave just kind of underwhelmed the rest of the time. There's just not a whole lot of options in that passing game.
I thought the ball he threw into the end zone, which would have put the Saints ahead at the end of the game, was it was thrown the only place it could be thrown, and the guy catch it and the defense not catch it. It looked like he was going to catch it.
Yeah.
But
for the second week in a row
in
the fourth quarter, throwing into the end zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very frustrating. Let's talk about somebody who does throw touchdown passes. Dak Prescott, who I don't know if you saw any of the Cowboys-Giants game, but he completed 40 – or no, let's see. Let me get this right. They won 40-37 in overtime. He completed 38 passes for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he was going back and forth with Russell Wilson there at the end. And it was one for the books for Dak, though. I mean, this is a feather in his cap for sure.
Well, that run he made won the game, I thought.
Yeah. On top of everything else.
Yeah, he's still doing it. He's a great player. I wish he didn't play for the owner he plays for, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah, well, when it comes to NFL owners, you kind of pick your poison there, buddy. But yeah, it was a good weekend. What are you looking forward to the most this weekend?
Well, it's another good slate of football games. I'm actually gonna be in Oxford for my buddy Curtis Wilkie's 85th birthday.
So you'll get to see the Rebels and the Greenies.
I will. Yes.
That ought to be fun. Those tickets in Oxford are going up in price, I've noticed.
Well, I think I have some connections.
I know. But I was looking at I was already looking ahead to that Ole Miss LSU game, and those tickets are going for hundreds already anywhere in the stadium. So I can imagine if Ole Miss takes care of business this weekend and LSU wins again, it's going to get pretty outrageous.
Yeah, it is going to be outrageous. It's going to be. There have been some games like that. My question is always whether Oxford's infrastructure can handle it.
Well, Oxford, it's grown by leaps and bounds. I have no doubt that it can.
Okay.
It's getting, it seems like every time you go up, there's a new hotel and new lofts and new whatever. I'm
just worried about the
I'm trying to invest in real estate in Water Valley. That's where I'm headed.
Yeah, it might be the place to invest. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's about all the time we got this week. Thanks, everybody, for listening in. Just a reminder, you can keep up with all of Rick's latest writings over at MississippiToday.org. If you're going to a game this weekend, be safe out there, and we'll talk to you next week.